if you ask me who to compare Zay to, it's, you're getting a better Antonio Brown.
Welcome back to another episode of Caps Off by the Game Day. Today we got a very special guest.
Very special guest.
We got Zach Hiller here from LAA Sports. He's an NFL agent, reps some big name guys, man.
Huge.
We got
Huge
Dalvin Cook, James Cook, J.K. Dobbins. Is that right?
That is correct.
Zay Flowers, NFL prospect. He's already getting phone calls.
Yeah, is that a team?
Agent on the job.
Is that Chris Greer?
No,
I know
we're
working for Devin.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is cool.
Appreciate you.
I mean, I don't know what we did to deserve this and have an agent come on and have someone that comes on to talk sports, but hey.
Yeah, 30 under 32.
Yeah,
I'm probably
I got the text, we had spoken a couple of years back and, didn't want to just leave off on not really connecting.
Yeah, totally.
So I was like, you know what, let's do it, right? You guys are right here in New York City. You got a great setup. This is actually really cool. So thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
Also weird connections too, because you represent Jordan Scarlett,
Yes.
who, well, not that I love you, Jordan. If you're watching this, I'll send it to you. But you have another kid and not playing right now. But and so with Jay, I love you, Jordan. But Jordan and I went to school together. You now represent Zay Flowers as well, who's potential #1 wide receiver in this draft, getting a ton of love.
He will be the first wide receiver drafted.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, everybody in the league knows. It's just the media is just kind of
trying to make it seem.
I mean, everyone here is technically media too, but
Right.
it's hard.
We're not real though.
Yeah, we're not real media.
Okay, well,
dude, we know nothing. We're a bunch of fans.
It's hard for the media members who have to, support the big schools, the big programs who donate them all this money. So they have to keep running the racket. But
Not a Boston College.
in the league, they already know that Zay is the first receiver off the board. It's a known fact.
So we're placing that bet.
Why is that?
100%. I've known for months.
Oh,
why?
shit.
Why is what? Because
So why? I feel like a guy that's been steady climbing up the boards, and that's Zay right there. He's telling me why he's the #1 receiver coming off the board. I feel like Zay Flowers been climbing up boards as well, but JSN has probably been the biggest name that's been climbing up the boards recently.
I mean, I don't get into the whole climbing up the boards thing. That's a whole media thing, right? So if you look at the tape,
pro days.
you look at the tape, and then you get the feedback from the interviews because yes, it's football. You want the best possible football players, but when it comes to the first round picks, that's the Thursday night. You're betting, your job on that, right? These GMs and the coaches and the front offices are okay, if I pick this first round pick, this is my guy. This is the guy that I'm going to lean on. As long as he's successful, I can normally tailor it back to that, or at least get another shot to draft again, which, is another contract for me, right? Everybody's making money. It's a business. So as much as everyone's trying to win football games, everyone's still trying to protect their ass, right?
Yeah. So do you get into player comps then? You talking about Zay Flowers? Is that obviously representing him, and you're looking into the draft and you're saying confidently he's going to be the first wide receiver taken? A lot of this comes with player comps. Quentin Johnson is a top prospect, very raw, but people are talking about, this guy can be compared to some of the most dominant receivers we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to, again, that's everything's media, right? Everything's for the hype. It's
funny.
It's the entertainment.
we definitely overhype shit.
We do that
feed
shit.
into that shit a lot.
It's-
We're just fans, but we totally love to just jump into that shit.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the entertainment business, right? So they play football, but, technically speaking, it's just entertainment, right? They're competing with all types of entertainment, right? You're choosing on Sunday to spend your time watching a football game versus doing something else. So, that's why the media is so important. But at the same time, I don't really get into the comparisons. If you ask me who to compare Zay to, it's, you're getting a better Antonio Brown and you have nothing to worry about whatsoever. Zero.
Love that.
Dude, imagine putting an AB on the field and not worrying about a single antic and knowing that when he walks off, he's going to smile and say, yes, sir, and shake everybody's hands. And you can bring him into every environment,
That's a good pick.
Felipe's been saying Antonio Brown's the greatest wide receiver of all time. So do you think that Zay Flowers can become better than Antonio Brown in that way?
Yeah, 100%. He's going to have the opportunity. So he's got to put it together. I think the NFL is 100% changed, and it goes back to the whole entertainment factor. All they want right now is just speed speed and explosive plays. So size isn't necessarily even a good thing, right? Because
very true.
You know, I mean, I'm not the biggest guy, so I always grew up under the the impression the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Oh,
so
well, I can tell you that's true.
So the and the one thing the NFL doesn't want is they don't want another like DeMar Hamlin situation. So now you have these smaller, fast, quick guys, just like the quarterbacks, right? The quarterbacks have to be mobile, and like they're protecting the quarterbacks on purpose because they know that's what runs the game, and that's what everybody wants to watch. Yeah. So Zay's size is actually a huge benefit to him. That like
how tall is Zay?
5'9" and a quarter inch, and he's
5'11".
But see, I don't even care. Like I'm not trying to make him taller. I'm trying to keep him the size that he is because he's so aerodynamic that you can't touch him. Like you can't. Like the bigger you are, the easier it is to like
well, we talked about this yesterday too, because I think historically, shorter receivers, smaller receivers are playing in the slot, but now you're getting these smaller guys who can run the whole route tree, play inside, outside. And you're talking about a guy Zay Flowers that does the same thing. So size isn't really a limit there when it comes to being able to play on the outside or not.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm getting at. Is that like go back 10 years ago, they wanted these big guys that could get up there and get the football.
You're Calvin Johnson.
But now you can't touch the guy, so it doesn't matter. Whoever's the fastest, quickest, shiftiest, is going to make the most explosive play. That's what the team wants.
It's so crazy for me to hear because me being at the same high school with Zay and like playing on the same basketball team and everything, and how much smaller he was, like that was always looked at. And now to hear him being talked about as someone that's going to be the first wide receiver off the board and the amount of love and hype it's crazy.
What was he like on the basketball team?
Wait, you play with Zay, but you're way older than Zay.
Yeah, I am. But
it was nasty.
Yeah.
At ball?
Yeah. It was just the fastest person.
Wasn't he like an 8th grader, right?
Yeah.
When you were a senior?
Well, it was him. It was Benito. Mm-hmm. I put it like this. I was a senior and I didn't provide the most talent. So then we had guys like Zay Flowers and Nick Benito and other guys that were in 8th grade that can provide us with a lot of things.
That's wild.
So
Zay was just so athletic and so
the
fast.
8th grader providing the value to the senior varsity team.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
but back to like you being in this business, like how'd you get into this? How'd you get connected with guys like Dalvin Cook or J.K. Dobbins?
Darrelle Revis,
right?
Yeah.
Was that how you started? Tell us how you got into it.
Yeah, I was, throwing parties in New York City, had my own like company, and I happened to get an internship at an agency, and Darrelle was one of their clients. And Darrelle's advisor in his life was his uncle Sean Gilbert, who most people, you guys might not know, but was the #1 recruit out of high school. I don't think they had stars, but #1 recruit out of high school. Went to Pitt, was drafted 3rd overall. Incredible football player. He actually was the first player, and aside from now Le'Veon Bell, who's holdout, I mean, I guess you could say went according to plan for him because he got the next contract, but I don't think that he handled that situation correctly. But he held out an entire season. He was the first guy to do it, and ended up getting a massive contract. So he was like Darrelle's advisor. Me and him really hit it off. He's one of my advisors as well. I got a meeting with Dalvin, and it was like the last meeting that I ever took while interning, and things weren't going right over there. You can read about it online. I can't really get much more into it legally. Me and Dalvin just hit it off. And the way that the NFL is set up currently for the rookies is that their contracts are slotted. So like when Zay gets drafted, I don't know what pick it is right now, but I know what that contract is for the pick. So if he's the 1st overall pick or the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I can tell you right now how much money.
It's the exact same no matter what.
Correct. It doesn't matter. Right. So everybody already knows what those dollar amounts are. It's just now putting the name next to it. So once you once you recognize that, there's no negotiation experience.
Just out of curiosity, how much is the 1st overall pick making
this year's gonna be, I could give you the exact if I look, but it's probably going to be like $42 million over 4 years.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't realize there was incentive for being higher in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Higher in the draft, aside from being like on the 1st overall.
Totally.
It's all money.
Can different teams allocate a certain amount of signing bonus too, whatever they want, or is that all locked into?
So everything is completely set in stone.
Yeah.
But the structure of the payments. So let's say, you're the 1st overall pick, and your contract's $42 million. The signing bonus is going to be, let's say, I'm just guessing here, $35 million, right? Like that's how much it's going to be. And the rest will be the salaries over the 4 years.
Okay, yeah.
That $35 million might not get direct deposited into your account immediately when you sign the contract. That's actually negotiable, right? So the team would obviously prefer to, you know, give you $5 million within 5 days, give you another 10 million in 3 months from now, give you another 10 million. So that's,
could you imagine $5 million in 5 days?
So
Can
that's,
they direct deposit that 35 million?
well, that's the agent's job, is to negotiate that and sit there and say, no, give me my whole 35 million, because obviously you want to keep the 35 million for two obvious reasons. One is that, you know, I'm signing my contract in May. I don't have to show up really to play football till September. If something happens that I do something stupid, it's harder to get my money back than to just have it in my bank account. And then number two is they can earn interest on that money. So yes, they're like any other business, they're allocating those funds, but until it actually leaves their account, it's sitting in in an interest earning account, right? So every dollar that they don't have to give out within 5 days, they keep. So the agent's really only job right now is to negotiate that. So yes.
I think Joe Burrow got all of his like straight up.
I saw that interview.
I don't know.
Dude,
maybe.
imagine fucking Zay Flowers is just going to wake up with $35 million in his account.
Yeah. I mean,
he goes first,
you got to go back to work.
That's elite.
I mean, that's why the whole Larry Matan, when he was falling down the draft, I forgot how many millions he lost out on when he was supposed to be a very early top 5 pick. Fell to like mid-teens. Is that mid-teens.
Dolphins.
So he lost a lot of millions just from
that
that
Bong
video.
picture.
The Bong picture. Yeah.
You know, and now
Just
today,
tight now.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool now.
I mean, today I don't think it would really impact anything at all.
We'll just be like, oh, that's interesting.
What's crazy is like guys get drafted early in the draft and become busts in their career, but because they were drafted second overall, let's
Doesn't
say,
matter.
they're still set for pretty much life.
Should
if you don't blow through the money, if you handle it well, should be. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about
it's a life changing payment. Is my point.
Wait, I'm kind of curious though. Is where does it begin to really drop off in terms of salaries?
It drops off really quick. So, like it's like 42, and then like 11th overall is gonna be 20 million. So it cuts in half.
Right.
And then by the end of the first round, it'll be like 14. But this is over 4 years. Keep in mind, right?
Yeah.
So and then it really tailors off. So like second round, by the end of the second round, it'll be like $6 million over 4 years. So like, don't get me wrong. It's $1.5 million a year, but like this is all
average American. You're 1%.
But at the end of the day, still
but you're also 20 years old. If that's all you make after taxes is really like $4 million.
Definitely not all you can
You buy a Range Rover, is $150K gone. You're taking care of all these people. Next thing you know, like you'll have 300, 400 grand put away. But is that enough to not get another job? I don't know. I wouldn't say so.
Gotta go play and produce.
Yeah, you gotta go get another contract.
That's not generational wealth.
It's correct.
I got one last thing because it just popped in my head. We talked about, we were saying the whole thing is that the whole NFL draft is a media show. And so a lot of us, including the four of us, definitely hype up these guys and play into the narratives and almost prop them up more than they need to be. What is the role of the agent then in terms of also taking their clients that might be going lower and trying to prop them up as well? What's that look like in the media versus agency?
Comparing them to Antonio Brown.
I mean, again, it's like the teams are going to, these are multi-billion-dollar companies. Right. They're not listening to stupid Twitter account that says so-and-so, right?
Yeah. 800 followers, I'll take that. I mean, it's 800 people. I'm trying to tell
No, I'm not even referencing you. I'm more so
I hope you're not.
I'm more so referencing like 98% of these mock drafters and draft gurus. Like they don't know anything. Yeah, they might get a tip from like one person in the league, and then they base their entire you're not giving up, the actual information. And again, you got to remember, right? Also, if everybody's now a Twitter genius and draft analyst, you got to be clickbaity, right? So you're going to put certain things too that so it's just all a media show. And like, can you prop a guy up? I mean, I guess online, which would bring him Twitter followers and Instagram followers, which then, yes, can translate into dollars, but it's not that important.
The team's not looking at it.
No.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit.
The team has...
I don't know.
You comparing Zay to Antonio Brown is getting clipped, hopefully we help you stop.
I mean, listen, there's 2 scouting services that the teams all contract, and they've been scouting for all these years, and they have a standardized system that like is every guy is graded based off of. And that's the real information. Like that's how you know a guy is draftable versus like just watching the football, right? And like that, what that includes is like these services go to these schools, they interview people in the building to get the off the field, but then they also measure, right? So like they know every guy's arm length, they know every guy's exact height, weight, they know the speed, they know their like everything about these guys, and then they come up with and compute a grade that the teams then use. That like the media doesn't have access to.
Yeah. Damn, interesting. Wow.
And that's why you can go look at mock drafts. Like there's mock drafts at the beginning of college football seasons that guys go undrafted, but like they were first round picks in mock drafts. And it's like, because you might have been a great college football player, but your arms are 2 inches too small, and they know that that's not going to be able to move this guy who we know has this size arms, because everybody's looking for this size arms, you know, like.
On the other side of that, though, is that why a guy like Daniel Jones, who had like a 4th round prospect rating on him?
No, Daniel Jones was always a beast. Everyone knew Daniel Jones was a beast. Like everybody knew Daniel Jones.
We loved him.
Everybody at Duke knew he was the guy. Like,
but he was a 3rd or 4th round prospect, like months before the draft.
To who?
To all the media. To the media.
To the Twitter. To the Twitter boys.
He's basically just telling
I understand.
You know nothing.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones was always the guy. Like that was a known thing. And I mean,
Are you a Giants fan?
What's up? No, I'm not a fan of like really any team, but like
growing up,
have to be
he's
impartial.
Just watch, and he's super athletic. Like this is the whole thing, right? It's like the media takes one clip of this guy tripping over and makes him into Eli Manning, like he's like uncoordinated.
Eli Manning's a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
100%. I'm a huge Eli Manning fan too, but I'm saying it's like Daniel Jones is an athlete. Like that guy will get on the basketball court and school people.
So let me flip it then. Because Zach Wilson wasn't very high just off of watching him, but the media hyped him the fuck up, and he went 2nd overall. So that seems like reality reflected the media.
I think that every situation is unique. Did they hype him to that point? I don't know. Maybe is he also a quarterback, and did he not perform pretty well? And maybe the team that was studying him didn't understand that, hey, he might not fit in this market, because that's where like that's not media. That's where like I would say he's coming to a big market. He's in New York City. There's a lot of distractions. Maybe that they didn't factor that in, because that is hard. It's hard to play here. Now, if you want to blame the media for being on top of guys, then but that's part of the game too. That's part of the business. That part I agree with. But as far as like the mock drafts and the hype and this and that, no. Watch the film.
Zach did one throw in a pro day and everyone fucking crazy. And by everyone, I mean us.
Other guys like that, Mitch Trubisky, guys who just haven't panned out, but we're hyped,
we were talking about this before. We want to hear we're talking about what the media perspective is of these things, but like we want to hear the inside perspective. You're working with guys like Dalvin Cook, and we on the media end see all these rumors about, certain teams are inquiring about a guy like Dalvin. Now, if you can share those teams, feel free to. If not, feel free to hold it. First question is, what teams have inquired about Dalvin Cook? And in the process of inquiring about a guy like Dalvin Cook, how does that look for you?
Tell me the Miami Dolphins inquired.
I mean, with any guy that's like super talented like him and has performed in the NFL, teams are always inquiring. Like they're always trying to get better and better and better. So it's like
it's a kosher answer.
If you're asking for like a specific time, like no, all these teams are always calling each other saying, hey, do you want to get rid of this guy? Do you want to get rid of that guy? And like, Dalvin's in those conversations because of how, great he is. I'd say what's really going really well for us right now is the fact that like people are starting to realize that like Dalvin averages 107 yards per game. Like he has Hall of Fame numbers, but he's been in Minnesota and they've been mediocre. Yep. And like, it's like he actually has incredible statistics.
If he was in a big market, it'd be
for that, but also he's been playing with one shoulder. Like he's been purposely like, and this is part of the business, he's been purposely turning certain ways and like thinking about the fact that like he's about to get hit and turn, like not necessarily like trying to land certain types to protect his shoulder. So now he just got a shoulder fix. So now this is gonna be the first like time in a while that he has both his shoulders. And now, that's what we're really looking forward to the most. So, that's really the most interesting part I'd say with Dalvin right now is that I'm excited to see him with fully intact. And again, like I can't talk about it just yet, but I was gonna say, as far as yes, he has two shoulders and he's only had one. And when we did this contract, he only had one shoulder, and that was like the understanding of the contract.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they knew. Yeah,
so the Dolphins didn't inquire.
So I'm not. I mean, listen. I mean, the media. Okay,
on Twitter we inquired.
The media is always off on the drafts, but the media is not always off on I would say
Teams
the actual
inquire.
team news, like, they're not misleading the media on purpose. The draft stuff though is different, right?
When a team-
that's
Because it's all speculation.
no,
and it's a lot of,
that's some random dude
Yeah.
who doesn't work for a team is just making something up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Way to be Chris Greer.
I'm curious with guys like, like a Schefter or like Woj in basketball, stuff like that, like those insider breaking news type people.
Rappaport.
Yeah, are they like hitting guys like you up? Are they hitting up agents? Or do they have guys like within the team that tell them information? Or like, how does that process go of them
it's a little bit of
breaking?
they're
that
hitting
kind
up
of news?
everybody.
Yeah.
Like they're at the level that they're at because they're so connected, and their job is to obviously get information and give information.
Have you
And-
interacted with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. But that's just part of it. Just they reach out and ask. Per sources is always, those guys are
sources,
like they're not tweeting something without like it being like confirmed. And like
Players trust those guys?
I don't know if players actually talk to them, but like the team sources and like that, like they're. I think it was something about like I forgot who had tweeted it, but like something to do with like Aaron Rodgers' whole thing. Like they were right. Aaron Rodgers just wasn't happy that it got out before he wanted to get
Like,
out.
too early,
Like I love Aaron Rodgers too, by the way. Like I think he's hilarious and he's incredible. But yeah, I mean, like when they source something, they know, and that's the difference between I would say like Adam, who doesn't do mock drafts, right? He's not putting up a mock
he's just
draft.
a reporter.
He's not right because that's not what he's giving information that he's gotten that he can verify is correct.
And he's got it from multiple sources.
A mock draft is not verifiable because A, you don't know who's going to be on the board. B, they're not giving away that information because it's like, there's why are they telling them? You know?
Well, you mentioned Dalvin, obviously, in terms of being in Minnesota, the lack of, being in a big market in terms of how that affects his stock and how he's viewed around the media. And we very much have consistently speculated where we'd want to see Dalvin go when those rumors did come up, whether that be Buffalo and go and play with James, whether that be in Miami, places that where he could actually maximize that, his talent. I doubt you can say because you're trying to be impartial, but like in terms of places that you'd want to see where he could go, what are some of those places where Dalvin would be in a bigger market and be able to thrive that you would think?
I mean, I think he'll be successful anywhere. I just meant in the sense where like people don't actually look at his numbers because again, it's a team sport and he's a type of guy who's like always about team. That's all he talks about. He's a captain. Like he keeps the attention on like the team and wanting to win. He's not the guy to go on Twitter and be like, look at what I did and this and that, which guys do. Like guys do that all the time. They want you to know like I just had this and that and I deserve this and like, scream their way to like get things done. That's just not his personality. Like that's not him.
I get that.
He is just, a leader. He respects he loves football. Like that's what he loves. He loves football. He loves it. It's all he eats, sleeps, breathes football. And I just meant in the sense where like people don't realize he averages 107 yards per game in his entire career. Like his entire career.
That's crazy.
And it's like funny. I was looking at like Jamal Charles because someone was like talking about Jamal Charles Hall of Fame and like he averages like 96 yards per game, right?
Yeah,
like,
he had the
so
most
more
like
than
rush
10.
yards per carry out of any running back in history.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just looking at like statistically on a game by game basis. It was
Game by
pretty
game is
interesting to
real.
me. And then like you look like, he had like 3 seasons that were, I guess like he had like 1,900, 1,700. And then it's like, oh wait, people don't even realize that Dalvin had 1,952 yards back when Derrick Henry had 2,000 and
Jeez.
something.
Facts.
But he played 3 less games.
Sheesh.
People don't even pay. He played 3 less games, and
he
he didn't
averaged
break.
more
And
per
he
rush,
didn't
so.
break 2,000 because he had the last game, but then unfortunately his dad passed away, and he chose not to. And like that was like a whole thing. Like
I remember that. Yeah.
And on one shoulder.
What's up? Yes, and on one shoulder.
Okay,
so like people don't actually, I guess, recognize all that.
So we talked about this in the past, and Adam and I mean, we're huge Dalvin Cook guys, but I've said it myself that a healthy Dalvin Cook is the best running back in the league. Would you say that?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
I don't think
How does he compare though? How does he compare to like
Like
I
a
mean,
McCaffrey. And,
right?
I mean, I just think that it's. I mean, it's hard that you have to say a healthy Dalvin because I mean, just look at the first 4 games of his career until he tore his ACL. Again, he was averaging 115 yards a game as a rookie, like going off. I mean, listen, I think J.K. Dobbins is actually absolutely incredible. And if you look at again him, look at the statistics. The last 4 weeks of the season, he led the NFL in rushing yards. Analytically, if you want to talk about analytics, which I think it's stupid, and you can use the analytics to kind of
EPA and
just
DVOA.
just like confirm, but you have to watch football and understand football. It's not that simple. Like they're trying to make it seem like it's so simple, but it's not, and that's why none of them know anything about football. They just, were just math people who wanted to be involved, I guess.
That's true.
That checks out.
Tough look for analytics.
I failed math 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, you
you
guys know that PFF is owned by Chris Collinsworth, who talks purposely on all of the broadcast media. His whole job, he doesn't talk about running backs. If you watch it, he purposely puts all of the spotlight on the analytics because he owns that company. So like I didn't realize he owned it. 100%. It's like payola. Like it's like when it'd be like a radio station having, a music artist that they just stream constantly. That's exactly what that is. But people don't want to.
I had no clue. That's super interesting.
And they've convinced people that analytics are like the golden rule, but it's not that simple.
When it comes down to actual talent,
well, you'll see a guy like Rex Burkhead is like the 4th best running back in the NFL.
Yeah, you see PFF.
Wait, they won't even show us their formulas. So
you see PFF grades, you don't know how the fuck they get that.
Still biased.
Like, Adam would kill for those formulas.
He's like, Adam's the biggest like advanced stats guy that we have.
I mean, there was this play. I'm not going to name the player, but it was like plus 63 rush yards over expected. It was the stupidest play I've ever seen. He literally got the handoff. He ran into his center, and everybody had collapsed. He ran into his center and then didn't fall, bounced it outside, got plus 63 rush yards over expected. Watch the play. It's the simplest run of his entire career.
So you're more of an eye test guy, like actually watch football.
Yes, watch football.
Yeah. Like, how's that feel?
It feels terrible because essentially it's saying Tua's not a top 10 quarterback. That's all I've ever used.
I think Tua is. I think you can. I think that you have to look at like you have to keep in mind that like. There are analytics, but they're being used it's manipulated to form a bias, right? So like,
absolutely.
Yes,
they're looking at rush yards over expected, but then they're not telling you exactly like what that means, what the situations were. Like they're leaving out information, how bad that offensive line is. Just because they're ranking their offensive lines based on this, that doesn't apply to like. They're not applying it in every facet. They're using it to create narratives, and that's what is so smart. Like, don't get me wrong,
it's the business.
So smart. It's an incredible business.
Yeah,
but it does frustrate me when I listen to Chris Collinsworth, like just sit up there and talk about like PFF numbers and blah 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 blah. And it's like he owns that company.
All right, we got to keep it moving. I want to move into the factor cap.
Oh, I was curious about the Lamar.
That's my first one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just wait and listen. Don't worry, I got this, dog.
I'm impatient.
All right, we're gonna move into the factor cap segment. Basically, how this works, Zach, is I'm gonna say factor cap. I'm gonna give us a prompt. We're gonna move through a bunch of them, and we'll just say factor cap and kind of dive into that a little bit. All right.
Yep. Factor cap. Got it.
All right. So the first one, factor cap. This one's more for you than anything else. I don't even know if these guys can answer it.
Yeah.
Factor cap. Lamar would have the bag already if he had an agent.
100%.
Feels like a fact.
I also feel
where's he going wrong in your opinion? Just repping himself.
I mean, listen, to each his own. I think I talked about this on another show. It actually goes back to when he got drafted. So the first round picks have a team option for a 5th year in their contracts, which means is the team can just, extend you for another year, which means they prevent you from getting the free agency, which is the key. So when Lamar got drafted in the Baltimore Ravens were planning this the entire time. When I say planning this, they were being smart business-wise to say, hey, we're going to go get our franchise quarterback as the last pick of the first round because we can control him, it's a business. It's all about control and leverage. We can control him, for X number of years. So they traded back into that last pick. There should have been an agent with him then who could have explained like, hey, you're getting excited about this, but they know exactly what they're doing because they believe you're going to make it. And that's why they're trading up now. And that agent would have told the team or told Lamar to when that phone call came in, don't pick up or be annoyed about it, like act like you don't want to go there. Tell them, you know what, don't give up as much. Go to the first pick of the second round. Don't go to this pick because it's not worth the extra $600,000 or whatever because you're going to control me for an extra year. So the Ravens actually set it up back in 2018. So fast forward.
For the Ravens.
So the Ravens on their end did it perfectly.
Yeah, they knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah. That's why they're a multi-billion-dollar company. It's a business. So that was the first step. And then
that's what we don't think about, that like these teams are all businesses.
Yes, and they have the fans convinced that, like, you know, no, they're just trying to make money. The salary cap is used to convince fans that they're trying to do everything that they can to win, but they're just trying to make money. Like, that's all they're trying to do. It's always about the bottom line. But like, yeah, I mean, going back is that, listen, to each his own. I think that if he had an agent, somebody would have advised him that at the same time you want to, you know, start earning as much as possible when you can, and that's after year 3. So, you know, I think that he would be in a different situation if somebody had explained that, you know. But
so I guess,
I hope it works out for him, because if it does work out, then it's like great, you know. Everyone getting fully guaranteed contracts. He's moving the money like upwards, which is the key, because all the players should support the players. But I do think that an agent would have been able to, you know, at least from day one advised him through this what was going to happen, right? So like, and you know, if he was provided all that information by somebody, I don't know, but if he was provided all that information and then he still made all the decisions he did, then those are his decisions. Like, I can't force somebody to take a contract or do anything, but I think that, you know, if he would have been advised all this information, he might not be in the same situation that he's in right now. And I want him to get paid.
You trying to rep Lamar?
I mean, listen, you want to represent obviously the best football players, and you want to represent the best people. I have a great group of clients. I'm great.
You got a teammate of his.
You're good as it. Star-studded cast. But Jay, from us, I think we would all say fact. I mean, that's an easy one.
Yeah, get an agent, you'll get paid.
What do you think Lamar deserves?
Doesn't matter what you deserve. You're worth whatever someone's willing to pay you, right? So at this point, he's worth the franchise tag, and that's what's been applied to him. And unfortunately, you know, it wasn't his choice. It was the NFL Players Association that allows the teams to franchise tag you. And it sounds like a good thing. Oh, you're the franchise tag player, but it's not good. It prevents you from getting
screwed after getting that huge contract.
It's what Saquon's going through right now. It's you know,
it's actually interesting.
Everyone's Giants fans.
I am.
I'm not.
We're all different fans.
Yeah,
Giants, Niners, Dolphins, Cowboys.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, because the Giants, they've made it. I mean, I guess from reading the information, they've made it very clear. Unfortunately, and this is entirely NFL Player Association's fault, they have given the teams the ability to franchise players, which means it prevents you from going to free agency
and get that contract.
Correct. So what they're saying is that, hey, we can franchise tag you, which we did for $10.9 million a year. Okay. And then we can do it again next year if we want. If you play well, we can do that. But if you don't do well or you get hurt, like, see you later. We gave you 10.9. But if you do well, we'll tag you again, and we'll give you at this point a 20% increase, which I think is like 13.1 or something, right? So over the next 2 years, you're only going to make $24 million. And you have to perform very well and not get hurt, and you get $24 million. Why are we just going to give you $30 million? Like, why should we just give you $30 million? And that's the issue.
But my question then would be, is it true that a player doesn't necessarily have to sign that franchise tag? They could hold out, and obviously they're 100%. Losing money. But then at that point, because of, I think, player leverage and where we've gotten to from a player empowerment standpoint, if that player holds out, eventually it's going to be in the best interest of the team and the player, frankly, to get traded at some point. So you're demanding a trade really by holding out in some capacity.
Well, no, 100%. You don't have to sign the tag. You don't have to sign the tag. And then, you know, you could demand you could demand a trade, or they could just say, okay, sit at home, right? And then come back when you're ready. And that's why I was like going back to the Le'Veon Bell situation. Like, that's what he did, and he did end up getting another contract. But you know, I don't think that he needed to sit at home. I think he lost the year of earnings in that situation. And the reason to me is that the whole point is you want to get paid as soon as possible, right? And this tailors back to the Lamar situation. If you can renegotiate after 3 years, force them to renegotiate with you, bank that money, then go perform, and then, you know, figure it out from there, right? So with Le'Veon is he wasn't able to renegotiate after 3 years because I think he had, you know, gotten in trouble and stuff for things that like,
there was
now it was like weed stuff, which isn't that serious, right?
Yeah.
But the team was like, no, we want to see that you can make it through a whole season. So boom, he did. Then he got tagged, right? So when he got tagged, he played because he was like, nah, I need this money, right? I was on a rookie contract. I'm taking the $12 million. And the franchise tag was more back then, which is even crazier, which tailors back to like all these running back contracts. They're, you know, it's been going down. But what I'm getting at is they paid him $12 million for a year, right? He did well. So they said, all right, we're going to give you a raise. We're going to give you a 20% raise. And he said no. He's like, no, that's not good enough. I'm like, wait a second. We just paid you 12. Now we're trying to pay you more money. What's wrong? And he was just like, it's principle. So he just gave up.
It's principle.
He gave up $14 million. You know, yes, he could have gotten hurt. Football is super dangerous. I completely understand all that. But like, you played for 12. So like, how are you all of a sudden just against the franchise tag, right? Saquon, different story. You know, this is his first tag. I don't know what he's going to do and how he's going to handle the situation. And I hope he gets paid and gets every dollar. So we'll see. But yeah, you could hold out. I mean, we'll see. And Saquon, you know, Saquon is in a, you know, obviously a great situation too, because he was the second overall pick. He's already banked $32 million. Yeah. So he can sit there and say, you know, I'm not playing for this and I'm good. I'll go home. I got whatever I got in the bank account, you know, I'll wait on you guys.
But if you're a late round pick that showed out, you're kind of screwed if that franchise tag comes out, right? Like,
it's not that you're screwed. It's just that that's the leverage that the teams always have, right? Yeah. It's that, you know, we're talking about millions of dollars and
NFL's a business.
Correct. And the team has billions, right? And these later round guys don't. Mm-hmm. So now you might be worth $12 million, okay? But the team is going to give you $8 million. Right. So now you get 2 years of $8 million. That's $16 million. Is that life-changing money?
Hell no.
You don't think so?
$16 million, bro?
16?
Do you know what you would do with $16 million?
Depending on like what you could end up getting. I don't know.
$16 million.
That's fine. That was his response. But tell that to somebody who...
Oh, tell it to me. I'll take it every fucking day.
No, that's what I'm saying. So what the team's sitting there saying is they're always going to sit there and be like, we'll give you 8. We'll give you 8.
Because they know that still in the millions of dollars.
Yeah, once I sign my name, I'm changing my life.
I think it's different when I'm like talking about it rather than if I saw that on the paper.
On paper, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
so the teams know that. They're sitting there like, all right. We like everyone knows you're worth 12. We're not going to tell you that, but like we look at each other and know you're worth 12. But we also know that 8's going to change your life. So
when
like,
you see 8
I'll just put it on a piece of paper right here. Sign here, you have $8 million. Well, actually, sorry, you have $16 million.
Like,
how many people, you know, want to really sit there and say, screw it, I'm going to hold out for my 12. You should, but you should. No, you're good. You should, but like, it's a lot.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. Okay, so how about the principle of you're one of the top receivers, or you're one of the top players that in your position, and we know you don't have to be the best running back to get the highest running back contract or the highest receiver, but these guys, from what we hear, want to be the highest paid at their position. So a guy like
Tyreek and Devontae were
like a guy like Tyreek who wants a contract is, from what we hear, is he wants to be paid the highest. He wants to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL right now.
Every guy should always be, and that's the problem. And again, this is entirely the NFL Players Association's fault. That's the problem with the running back situation, is that, you know, it was never, every time a running back does a contract, it was never, this guy should get paid more, this guy should get paid more, this and that. It was just like, oh, no, like, oh, these guys get hurt. Blah, blah, blah. But in every other position, it's like, no, let's keep jumping. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but that was set up by the NFL Players Association because running backs, you know, they do take a beating, right? And you're under a rookie contract for 4 years. Running backs should not be under a rookie contract for 4 years. Or what it should be is if they take X number of carries, their contract is shortened by, you know, that's the way that position should be. That should be handled. You shouldn't be able to have a guy on a 4-year contract running the football 300 times for 4 years and then be like, all right, see you later. Like, that's just bad business. Yeah. Like, but that's how the NFLPA has allowed the teams. And, you know, nobody's really been that outspoken about it because all the other positions are happy, right? Like, I'll give you
exactly.
There's the interesting argument or the interesting situation is that talking about the franchise tag, right? You guys understand what that is, where it's like position based, right?
Right.
So the O-line, there's a left tackle, there's a right tackle,
right?
There's the guards and there's a center, right?
Yeah.
Why is there one O-line tag?
It's a good point.
How does it make sense? There's 5 different positions.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It benefits the centers, right?
Of course.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
But, you know, that's not something that the NFLPA has ever been willing to like talk about. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not trying to take from O-line or anything like that. I'm just saying there's so many negotiable things that, like, you know, could be changed that would, but it's so simple to, you know, point out that the center plays this position this number of times. His franchise tag number should be the center number. It shouldn't be an O-line number. So now maybe if the NFLPA explained that to the league in a negotiation, then they'd be able to, say, hey, but over on this position, like the running backs, we need to have a standard on if they take X number of carries, they have to get an escalator, But again, this is all about representation in the NFL Players Association, having people speak up and, but again, everything's for the benefit of players as a whole or whatever. But
that's super interesting. We got to change the
I don't know if I just went on a
contracts.
tangent. I don't know.
No, that was fantastic.
That was like one of those things.
much
I've
insight.
always joked about loving the numbers and loving to talk about the cap specifically, and just hearing all that from the perspective of someone that knows and goes through it every day was mental masturbation.
That's a little much.
All right, we'll do a couple more of these factor
Fucking
caps.
electric.
You might need to shed some light on this in terms of how this came up, but because I know we were talking about this earlier. But here's the other one: factor cap. Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes.
That is the biggest of caps. Carson Palmer, you don't know shit. All right, you stop acting like you played in the NFL.
Carson
for an extended
Palmer
period of time.
tweeted that? Or
Yeah. So just to give context, Carson Palmer, I believe, was on a podcast similar. Could have been on CAPSOFF. I don't know. And he was on a podcast and basically said that Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes for these reasons. If I could pull it up on Twitter. Now I can't find it, which is great. But yeah, so pretty much whatever. Carson Palmer had said that Joe Burrow's better quarterback. He executes the offense better. Whatever the plays are and everything, he just executes at a higher level than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm generalizing and summarizing, but yes, it's bullshit.
Mahomes has executed 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. It's dumb.
Yeah, it's cap. I love Joe Burrow, but he ain't fucking Mahomes. Come on now.
Here, I
Do you
found
think
it.
there's any validity to Carson Palmer saying that? Like, is there
No, he doesn't know anything.
The only thing is the head-to-head record. That's the only thing I think of.
His
Those
exact
3
quote
months.
was, he's more consistent, he's more accountable to run the system and the play that's called.
Consistent,
Now, to refute that out of the gate, I believe Warren Sharp tweeted something that I can no longer find, which
Do
is
you have
electric.
thoughts on this? In terms of
I
just
found it.
quarterback ability? Carson Palmer saying that Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes? Factor cap.
I mean, both incredible, both, amazing at what they do. I think that it goes back to what I was talking about media. We're talking about Carson Palmer right now because he made a statement that, I'm not going to say it's obvious. I'm not even going to get into the football talents. Just look at the Super Bowl wins, right? That's, point to that, right? Like,
Yeah.
So you're saying
But-
cap.
I'm just saying I don't even know where
Yeah.
it came from. Like, what was the point in even saying that?
Just
Like,
to
you know what I'm
try
saying?
and just try and get his name out
it'd be
there.
relevant.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that was more for Carson Palmer than anybody else.
That makes sense.
Back in the conversation.
I like to go back to, I think both of them, if you ask them both that question, how would they? I think Joe Burrow would say, listen, I respect his game. He's got more Super Bowl wins than me. So, I think I got to
exactly what he would
I got to
say.
give it to him. And Patrick Mahomes would say, he's
a lot of great quarterbacks
he's a great
in this league.
competitor.
Yeah,
I think he's got, I think he's got a great pocket presence. And they're not, I don't think either of those guys are going to say to you, I'm better, right? Like,
They're not.
I don't think.
we went to the Super Bowl media week and we got to ask Patrick Mahomes who his top 5 quarterbacks are in the league. And
they're all really
And we
good.
got answers from a lot of guys. A lot of guys.
He
were
wouldn't
giving
even
us
go
their
there?
top
What do you
5.
give,
He just said there's a lot of guys in
Yeah,
the league
yeah.
who got great. There's a lot of guys with really good talent. I think there's a lot of it's really
hard-
top
so hard to
heavy right
choose,
now. There's
man.
some really good guys.
It's a team sport, right? So and that's not even it's not to take away from anybody or anything like that. I just think it was just not needed to make a point of. It's like
Yeah.
if you Super Bowl win the Super Bowls. That's it. Win Super Bowls and then
That's
have
all that
conversation.
matters.
Yeah.
Well, refuting it objectively, there's a stat to bring it up.
What is it?
Average time to throw in the NFL is 2.6 seconds.
For who?
On quick throws, 2.3 seconds or less, where the quarterback is clearly. All right, it's a lot of things. Just follow
This
me.
is Adam's advanced analytics.
Advanced,
side.
I know it goes against in
I get lost
2022.
sometimes.
Mahomes was number 2 in this specific stat. Joe Burrow was number 17.
So you're saying Patrick Mahomes always had more time or less time?
He did better with less
He
time.
did better with less
That's what I'm
time.
saying. Okay, good.
And then in 2021, he was number 3 and Joe Burrow was number 10. So the reason that I'm bringing up this stat is because Carson Palmer had said that he executes and runs the plays better and everything.
And that
but in
refutes-
actuality, that refutes it.
Right, but again, you brought up something to prove a bias, like to confirm your bias. That's all, like what I'm saying.
I'm fully biased.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think you can use analytics,
Yes.
but they're not set in stone,
Totally,
right? Like,
totally.
That's not
The end all be all.
It's all
Correct.
opinions.
Unless it's
all
with Tua.
opinions. All right. Well, we'll move back to some draft talk. And actually PFF talk. Earlier in the year, we had a PFF guy on the
Ooh, I
show,
like
Sam
this one.
Munson, who was great. was a good time, and he was at the NFL Combine, and he was seeing all these young guys, show off their skills.
Did he play
whatnot.
football?
Who?
Nope.
He's like Irish, so I doubt it.
No. But he
didn't play football.
No, he's not a football.
But he came to us and he said that Bijan Robinson is probably the best running back prospect they've seen since Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
So factor cap. Bijan Robinson is the best prospect we've ever seen.
Cap.
0% chance. You can't. First off, you can't. I mean, you can make any statement you want. So sorry if I was too. Like, obviously, I don't think he's a better prospect than any of my clients, at that position currently. But I'm just getting at who cares if you're an incredible? You could be the greatest prospect ever. Go do something, right? Like, go do it. It's just that goes back to the just making comments right now that he'll say the same thing next year about somebody else, so that you talk about him, you talk about PFF, and you keep the media machine moving, and you keep the Twitter followers coming in, and the clicks and the money. That's I mean. It's like Mel Kiper, I think, said he was going to retire if somebody like wasn't successful. No, he just forgets about it.
Yeah.
I saw someone sent me something the other day where like maybe it could have been edited, or like I don't know, the whole like whatever that stuff's called, the AI stuff. But it was Skip Bayless arguing with himself.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Oh, that was so funny. No, it was edited.
It was like edited. They took two different clips and put them together.
But it's on the same subject.
Yeah, but it's on the same. Exactly. It's like
he was saying the opposite.
No,
like
but then,
a few
like
months later.
listen, and trust me, don't get me wrong. I love all the media people and everything, and I understand their jobs, and I support them, and I'm just it was like I've been seeing on the media about what's his name was hyping up Trey Lance, and then the second he breaks up with his daughter, it's like, this guy's the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, it's like, listen, I mean, yeah, he's gonna hype up and say whatever he needs to his followers. If you follow him and you trust this guy, then take his information. You know what I'm saying? Like that's right. Your choice as a consumer.
So at what point do we give credence to that though? Because Bijan is being put on this pedestal by everybody.
Okay, we'll give.
So you told me
I'll give credit when he gets drafted, wherever he gets drafted.
Okay.
I hope he gets drafted as high as possible and makes as much money as possible. That's the only thing that backs up any of that information, right? If he goes, that's great as a prospect, right? So he's hyping him. He's the best running back prospect ever.
Sure.
The higher he goes, the more money he makes. Great. Now, if he sucks in the NFL, who cares that he was the greatest prospect ever at that point, right? It's like, you got to get that next bag.
True.
So some of you said J.K. Dobbins. You said your clients were all better prospects than Bijan.
J.K. was actually it was unfortunate. He hurt his hamstring before the combine. He would have ran a 4.3. He would have beat every combine number of every single, like Saquon had crazy numbers. JK would have blown all them away. He would have ran like a 4.3 flat. He would have jumped like 40. Like he's absolutely insane. Like absolutely.
So
insane.
he went second round because of the hamstring.
I mean, I can't. I don't.
Played a
know.
part in it.
I mean, I don't know. I think he ended up going to a very good situation.
Yeah,
because,
great situation.
I think he's a very interesting situation. I mean, I can't really talk much into it right now, but like, look at his numbers, right? Like. Incredible numbers that people maybe not even realize, but just the last couple of games of the season went off insane. And he wasn't even 100%.
And you could see it.
Now he's fully removed, full off season. Like he's going to be so far ahead of all of these dudes. It's crazy. Like I'm telling you, if you want to bet on a player for next season, it's Jake.
I mean, there's so much Kool-Aid that I've consumed during this draft and just have been assembling my fantasy team during this whole thing. But going back to also, you did talk about looking at their stats and what they've done. There's been a ton of running back prospects that we might even want to say is better just as a prospect because the numbers, whether that be the CMCs of the world, the Zekes, who else? Todd Gurley's, Leonard Fournette's, guys that have produced in college and guys that could be comparable as the best running back prospect to.
Well, look at Trent Richardson, right? Like he was.
I mean,
was he not a great prospect?
Huge.
No, he's great.
Didn't pan out. It happens.
I don't know. My favorite prospect. Saquon was in there. Saquon's great. I would say the best running back prospect that we've seen in terms of coming into the league was Zeke in terms of just overall, 3-down package.
He ran that team that won the Natty. He was insane.
And he ran fast. I mean, listen, I've also come to realize, and maybe I could be wrong, but the NFL Combine, was a little worried that guys were going to stop coming because you can get hurt, and if you get hurt, then you're not going to get paid, and it is really a free opportunity to just really the only thing that happens is bad stuff. Can you do really well and the media hype you again? Yeah, but if you get hurt, you kind of lose everything, right?
Yeah.
So once there was this rumblings of like, hey, guys are going to stop participating. All of a sudden, these guys have gotten really, really fast at the combine, like really fast.
Shit.
Look at like Dalvin ran a 4.49. He's not like Christian McCaffrey ran a 4.48. Like these guys,
faster.
like these guys are fast, and now guys are running like
now guys running 4.3,
4.45. Oh, that's slow. Like.
Yeah, literally, like
a tenth of a second is making them slow.
Like, yo, you watch Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey on those guys.
Yeah,
they were fast as shit.
Yeah,
like,
bro, I'm not getting under 6 seconds.
no chance.
I don't know. You got long strides.
I do, but there's no.
You got to pick them up and put them down, though.
Exactly. They got heavy legs. All right, let's move in. We were talking about. We mentioned to you before. You rep Dalvin and James Cook. A pair of brothers in the NFL. And there are a lot of excellent all-time siblings that have played in the NFL. And we like to do a power ranking segment here as often as we can, just kind of ranking things that are relevant to us or whatever it might be, kind of give our opinion on who are the best ones. So we're going to kind of just rank our top 5 NFL siblings, all right? So off the dome, any ones you can think of.
And not really based off of
more
anything.
than you think.
All time or right now?
All time.
Yeah.
I mean,
All-time siblings.
I'm just gonna.
We can all go around.
The Manning brothers are obviously,
one.
That's one.
They're the number one. I can't really even think. Dalvin and James are incredible, and they got they have much more to go in their career. So I'm excited to see how it goes. But nobody will touch the Mannings.
The Watts.
I think the Watts can. 3 defensive players of the year for JJ. TJ's got like what, 1 or 2.
One.
He's gonna get more probably.
Yeah, that's actually.
I think they, as far as like dominance, I mean Peyton is Peyton.
Yeah.
I mean, Peyton,
and then
don't
Eli's
forget
got.
Don't forget Eli.
Eli. Hey, 2
yeah.
Super Bowls.
Eli two Super Bowls.
Giants.
The Mannings have the rings, but I think in terms of dominance on the field, JJ might be the greatest defensive player ever.
But that's what these guys do it for. Like you really do it to win a Super Bowl. So you could be the best player at your position. You can make all the money in the world. But like the great ones, they want Super Bowl rings. Like that's what they want.
I'll throw in another pair of 2 brothers who have 3 Super Bowls total. Is the Kelsey brothers.
Kelsey's is a really good one.
Kelsey's are a good one.
Travis Kelsey's arguably the greatest tight end of all
The
time.
Barbers is a really good one.
The Bosa's.
Rondé
Kiki and Rondé, that's a really good one.
All right, so like we made 1 through 5. As a group, are we doing this against each other or collective?
I'll do your own. I'll do my own. I'm gonna go Eli and Peyton 1.
Okay.
I'll go. Oh man.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough because the Watts and the Kelsey, like the Kelseys have the rings, right? I'm gonna put the Kelseys. I'm gonna put the Kelseys 2 for the same reason I put the Mannings 1. I'll put Kelsey's 2. I'll put Watts 3.
Quarterbacks are supposed to win rings.
That's true. I'll put the Watts 3. Dalvin's so good, bro.
Yeah, but we haven't seen anything from James.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who? The Bosas, I guess, right?
Bosas so
are
good.
Awesome.
And then I'll put my boy Tiki Barber and his brother in there, Rondé. I'll put them 5.
I saw Tiki Barber in
Felipe,
line for a
what would you
musical a month
Don't look at me. What about the McCourties? The McCourties?
Nah, not for me.
But I mean, we got Super Bowls. Actually, if I was making my top 5 brothers ranking in terms of just what I'm thinking, I would actually probably put the Watts 1. Because I think if the Watts had Super Bowls, it wouldn't be a question. But because they're not a quarterback and because they do play on the defensive side of the ball, there's a lot of things that they can't control.
They can't.
And so the fact that they've been on teams that haven't had the supporting cast on the offensive side to take them to the promised land is why I'm going to say the Watts are the best at 1. Then I'd probably go Manning's 2.
1, yeah.
See that was a clickbait comment because it's clearly the Mannings. Like
I also think
it's very clearly the Mannings.
No, but look, they're talking about. I understand what he's saying because I think Eli's talent is not the same.
What do you talent? What? Because he appears to be confused. Like that
he led the league in
but again,
he did. He had some really strong.
I'm not saying. I'm also not saying that like my ranking is
Eli
correct.
fan, and I know that he had some seasons that were really, really rough. I mean, Peyton never did. Peyton always played.
I'm also not saying my ranking's correct by any means. I'm going off of just people that I like.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I like the Watts.
I think the Watts are amazing people as well. I just think that Peyton and Eli have all
different.
Yeah, all these Super Bowls, I
also get 3 for the price of 2. with the Watts. I don't have what's his name?
Yeah,
Arch.
Derek.
Is Arch is the one at Texas right now?
No, yeah, that's the son. That's the son.
That's
But
the son.
Cooper is the brother.
Cooper's
Yeah,
the
Cooper's
brother.
the
All
player.
right. Well, yeah, family ties. I don't know. I don't even know 3 Bosas because I love Nick. He's a good guy. 4. I don't even fucking know. I don't know. I drafted James last year. I've had Dalvin on my fantasy teams. Dalvin kicked my high school's ass in high school, and I was there, so that was pretty cool. So I'll go the
Dalvin
Cooks.
will get a ring though before his career's over. I know that for a fact.
Ooh.
I need it.
Like that.
I don't know who I put at 5. Honestly, my list has already been invalidated. So.
Talia Tagovailoa will eventually.
Oh,
hopefully
true.
be-
Let me get that. Let me get that.
Look at that. Yeah, I
Maryland,
don't know.
UMD. Shout out UMD.
Yeah. I feel like we're missing. Oh, the Kelseys. Fuck.
Yeah, you gotta go Kelsey.
I don't know. Debate a wall.
Rattle through it, go, and then we got to wrap.
1 Watts. 2 the Pouncey brothers.
Oh.
3
No, that's actually a good
That's a
one.
good one.
3 Sterling and Shannon Sharp.
But he
4
looked at the list.
the Mannings, and 5.
You put the Mannings 4?
Yeah, because all the other players are
Because he
better
thinks
than Eli
sucks.
combined.
He's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
I am, yeah. But also, Eli led the league in interceptions twice. Like,
1, 2 Super
none of these
Bowls.
other guys in the first, I guess, pairs of 2, so 6
even-
guys ahead of it were bad ever. You know, they were all amazing.
True, it's true.
And then 5, I'll go with the Kelseys.
See, that feels like a good list outside the Mannings
Jack?
at 3 or 4 or whatever it was.
Oh, not that anyone cares, but I'll go 1. I'll go with the Mannings. Then I'll go with the Watts, the Sharps,
I love what you're calling them.
the Kelseys, and then the Pounceys.
Nice.
The Pouncies were so
we
good,
already
man.
know you got your list, right?
It's
Pounceys
one.
are
I don't
underrated.
got
I
a
think they're
list.
better
You don't
than
got a
Kelseys.
list. You just got the Mannings at 1.
One, and
Yeah.
then it's everything else.
Mannings and that's what Dalvin and James are both chasing.
Yo,
greatness,
real quick,
so.
by the way, I just got an ESPN update. Saquon Barkley does not plan to sign his franchise tender before team's offseason program.
Yeah, it
Shifter.
starts on Monday, so it's not that. It's
What's
not that.
that mean?
It's not that serious.
What's
of an
that
update.
mean?
It means it's not that serious an update. There's organized, there's voluntary offseason workouts that start, which means they're voluntary, but in the NFL, obviously,
They want things.
it's not necessarily voluntary. Like if you're,
Yeah. It's
you-
optional,
be
but it's not.
if you're the
optional.
53rd guy on the roster and you're not at the, the voluntary, I wouldn't
cut.
expect to be on the team next year, right? So
Right,
like,
yeah.
they can't tell you to be there, but you should.
So is this basically saying that Saquon's not?
No,
committing?
it just means he's actually not allowed to be there because he's not under contract. So he can't show up at he's
That
not
makes
allowed
sense.
into the building.
I
His
see.
key,
Oh, yeah,
his key card
technically.
doesn't work.
I
It's
see.
just,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I
That's
see.
just get a media attention, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
Hey, it worked.
ESPN.
You
worked.
mentioned it
Got
on
my
the
attention, and someone texted in a group chat. So
Saquon's not reporting.
yeah, all right.
Give a fuck.
All right, yo, Zach, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate all the
appreciate it.
insight.
Blast,
You
bro.
definitely
Sure.
shed a ton of light
Too
on
much
some
light.
shit
Super
that we talked
interesting.
about a
Awesome.
lot. So it was a ton of fun having you on. If you're listening at home, subscribe to the YouTube. Join our Discord. Go to thegameday.com for all the best sportsbook advice and to get your skin in the game and whatnot. This is Zach Hiller from LAA again.
LAA Sports
LAA Sports.
and entertainment.
and entertainment.
I actually have a boxer that, and obviously I have some music artists, but my boxer is actually fighting the undercard of the Tank Davis Ryan Bush
Really?
fight. Yeah,
No
so
shit.
Wow.
we got
Okay.
we got
That's sick.
4 seats. It's gonna be awesome.
That-
That's
when-
gonna be
when's,
dope.
when's that happening?
Saturday the 22nd. So not this Saturday,
Nice.
but the following. I don't know when you guys upload, but
This will be up
This
tomorrow.
will be up
Okay,
tomorrow.
yeah, so
Or
not
Friday. This will be up Friday.
not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. Vito Milnicki Jr. He's 20 years old. He's an absolute phenom,
Wow.
super
All right.
superstar.
That's
bet on
epic.
And
Yeah, we'll hammer
I
him.
don't know if there's a line just yet because he's generally too big of a favorite. But
Yeah.
if there's a line, definitely take him.
Or like by knockout or something like that.
Also, and I'm 99.9% sure that boxers are allowed to bet on themselves too. which
That's
is-
really.
Yeah.
What about UFC? Is that
Which is pretty cool.
That's
I feel like
sick if
UFC
you
would
can.
regulate the
I-
fuck out of that shit.
would regulate it?
Yeah, wouldn't let you bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Because
But it makes sense. You're
They
fighting.
don't.
I could
They
be
don't
wrong.
UFC,
like-
they love the fucking chaos though.
But if you can bet on yourself, I feel like that's fine.
Depending,
'Cause UFC is a
I think
league, you know
depending
what I
on
mean?
where the fight is and whatnot, you can bet on yourself. And yeah, why
That's
would you not
sick.
be
Can you
able
bet
to?
on
right?
the other guy though?
Yeah.
'Cause
If you
then-
bet on the other guy, that's a problem.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah. But if you
All
can
right,
bet on
well,
yourself.
Zach, where could those that are still watching follow you? Socials, anything?
Yeah, just social media is at LAA Sports ENT. And yeah, that's everything.
Yeah,
Awesome.
give him a follow.
Awesome.
Sweet.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks
you
for tuning
coming
in.
on.
We'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya.
What'd you think of that episode with Zach Hiller? Should we do more with agents? Should we try and get players? Let us know in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and make sure to follow them on all socials. You can find that down below. And for any betting promos, betting advice, any analysis, any articles, head over to thegameday.com. You're going to find everything.